Hello everyone! Welcome back to Glitz and Glitter! So yesterday we made the crystal mold. I showed you how to do it. If you missed that one, make sure you go back and watch it because you're going to wonder how I made these. So these are our crystal inlays, 4-inch for coasters or whatever you want to use them for. So I said we need to show you how I use them. You can use them two ways. Of course you need alcohol ink so you could see the crystal effect. Unless you turn them upside down. So I'm going to use them at the bottom of my mold. These fit in here perfectly. Or if you don't want them at the bottom, you can pour your resin and you can float them on top. So that's another way to do it. But today, since I'm making coasters, I want to be able to not have the bumpy side on the top when we pull the inlay out. I want the bumpy side on the bottom where it's not going to affect your drink or anything that you place on there. So because these fit so well in here, I'm just going to lay them down and they won't float. They should be fine. And even if resin gets behind them, it peels off super duper easily. So this may be a very simple video for you. So just put them in. That's it. Now I'm just going to mix up 8 ounces, about 2 ounces per. That could be, maybe, yeah, I'll do 8 ounces. That should be good. We don't need no thick coasters for any reason. So 2 ounces should be fine. I pulled out some jewel tones today. So I pulled out plum, strawberry, evergreen, and enzian. So we're going to make 4 coasters, 1 of each color, just so we could see the effect. I want them transparent so we could see the crystal shining through. But I also want the colors so they kind of go together. Let me grab 8 ounces of resin and we'll get started.
Brushes in hand and the world is my stage. Colors are loud like they're breaking the cage.
I've got 8 ounces mixed, split in 2-ounce cups. I'm just going to color them. I guess I don't need to wipe that off because I need that. So let's start with plum. And like I said, I want it transparent. I want to be able to see the color or the crystals through it, but I also want to see the color. So just a light color here. There's the plum. And then, of course, you need to get the bubbles out. You don't want anything hindering the color or the view to your beautiful crystals. This is evergreen. Hopefully these are similar to jewel tones. And this will go lighter too because I'm pouring it thinner than what the cup is holding. There's that one. Let's wipe my stick off here. And the top of my bottle, man, these inks, I tell you what, they do like to leak out when you shake them. Enzian. This is a darker blue, so I don't need too much. Maybe 2 drops. I don't think I need any more than that. Really pretty. This is going to be a very simple video. I hope you guys get inspired. There are so many different inlays you can get. This one is strawberry. Do 3. Not just these. I mean, I have tons, but you can buy inlays or make inlays pretty easily. There's that. Is that enough? I don't know. Maybe, yeah, that probably good. Probably good. Okay, let's get the bubbles out.
Glitz and glitter lighting up the night. Painting dreams with a shimmer so bright. Rhinestones dancing, catching every eye. This is my moment.
If you don't have a bubble remover, try to get the bubbles out the best that you can. Maybe let it sit on your counter for a little while to degas. Use a heat gun in your cup without melting your cup, of course. Use silicone or something to try to get the bubbles out because you want to be able to see all the crystals shining through. I am going to squirt this because there are so many facets in there. Now, most likely it's going to leak behind there, which is fine. Like I said, it will peel right off. So just pour it nice and slow. Make sure you cover the whole inlay. And you can pick out any bubbles if you see them stuck to the silicone. You probably won't notice them much because of all the facets, if there's one or two bubbles left on there, but I'm just going to scrape it out. We're not going to have extras, I just realized today. This is going to be a really easy video. Okay, there's that. I'm just going to spritz those bubbles and see what I'm looking at. Grab a stick. I see some unmixed alcohol ink. I'm just going to pop a couple bubbles up off the bottom. And that should be good. Let's just do the same thing to all of them. Very simple. I'm going to let these gel up. I don't want to mess anything up with the heat pad going on too quickly. So once they are gelled up pretty good, I will finish them off with a heat mat. Let me just scrape the rest out. Carefully, because you can incorporate more bubbles by scraping. And also, that's where I'm getting the unmixed alcohol ink. So just mix it on in there. It'll probably combine all by itself. It normally does, but I like to help it. I just want to help. Pop the bubbles. And then the same thing for the green. Beautiful colors. It was so hard to not just choose blue, but I know you guys get so tired of me using blue that I figured I would use some of each today. I'm just going to mix that in. That looks good. Only a couple bubbles I see on the bottom. And they may surface by themselves and pop, but just keep an eye out. And the heat mat right away will generate more bubbles. And if you're not looking, you're going to end up top coating these with a clear coat just so you can get rid of the bubbles that did pop up when you weren't looking. Okay, one more. Enzian. That's a pretty blue. At least I got one blue in. I was going to do them all blue, but that would be kind of boring. Now, if you put the inlay on top, like right now, you can float them as well, and they'll stay on top, and then your tops would be crystallized. But because these are coasters, I didn't want to do that. But if you're making something other than a coaster, a tray, or maybe you just want a portion, you can cut these inlays into pieces. Have little tiny inlays for jewelry if you wanted to. You don't have to leave them 4 inches. You can use them for whatever you want and cut them as you need to for whatever you need to do. If you have tiny little pieces, you can make little geo jewelry or what have you. Something floating. Nope, those are bubbles. Okay, I'm going to just let these sit for a while. I'm going to keep coming back to check on them. And then once they're cured, we're going to demold. So check out the comment of the day. I'll be right back. They're cured. Are you ready to see what we have? I didn't end up with any bubbles after I walked away on the tops, so let's just get them out. And then we will take the inlays off and hope I didn't put too much ink in there to see the beautiful crystals shining through. So just see how there's some resin that seeped underneath. It comes right off like that. So you don't have to worry about that. And if they float, push them down. Usually they stick the first time. Then you just pull this off. Nothing wrong with those. There's your crystals on that side. Of course, you got that piece there. I wonder if they're going to sit flat. Oh, I got to trim all that. I didn't think about that part. I don't know if my inlays are flat. Let's see if they sit flat. But you do, good thinking, Michelle. Now the crystals are going to be on the surface, so not sure that was the best idea. You might want to do it the opposite way, which you still can, so you can see them through here. What I'm thinking was you didn't want your cup sitting on the crystals, but what I don't want is this portion sitting on your surface. So I think your cup would do better sitting on the crystals. Let's pretend this is a cup. It sits just fine because it's level, pretty level. But look at the crystal sparkle. So yeah, I'm thinking that's the way we're going to have to do it. And again, you could have put them upside down. So that's how sparkly they came out. Okay, let's get these out. Nothing leaked under this one. So I just want to break that off. So I guess this is going to be the tops. This is the first time I made them. I didn't even think about that. Touching your countertops, that would be terrible to be scratching up your surface, your wood, or whatever it's on. So this will be your top. That will be your bottom. And that just peels off. It's just thin. And there's really nothing else to do. If you're using them for coasters, you can't really finish them off in any way other than making sure they're trimmed. Now you can fill this. There is an edge on here because we didn't dome the mold to not get that edge. But being that they're coasters, I mean, they're pretty either way. Look at that. You can see the sparkle from above and below. So if you want that shining up through your piece, not necessarily a coaster, you could put it on the back of anything that you want this crystal to be shining up through. You could put it on a jar, you could put it on anything. You could put it, I have this pumpkin one sitting here. So you could pour your resin, place this on top while it's curing, which we could probably do if you do a transparent. You got to do transparent, not opaque, and then place something on it so it's actually touching that resin while it's curing. Then you'll have these crystals shining up through the bottom of this pumpkin. We could try it. I have to make that pumpkin again anyway, but for coasters, this one had a little bit of leakage. We're just going to pop it right off a little over here. Oops. And because it didn't have a seal, that's why all this is on the sides, because it did go down the side of it. It's liquid. That's what's going to happen. But look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm just going to trim these up before they go anywhere outside of my house. I'm just going to take something just to make sure that they don't cut anyone. But that's so pretty. So you could see it from the bottom and the top. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. One more. Pull that off. And they're reusable. Use them as many times as you possibly can. Isn't that cool? And this seems to be just pulling right off, but I am going to take a nail file just to get that edge down, or my sander on the bottom part, because you don't want to be cutting yourself. Let me see if a nail file will dull that edge. Let me get a little thicker one. Which side is thicker? This side. Just to take that sharpness off. So when you're grabbing them, yeah, that works. just those edge pieces. That's all. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm not trying to get it level or anything, because that's all the more natural if it's not like a level circle. I'm just trying to get that sharp edge off. And I'm going to do that to the bottom as well. So this edge here, you could take a nail file, you could take your Let's Resin sander, just try to go at an angle, and that pulls that off, and then I'll put the Resin Restore on that line so you can't see that dull mark from sanding it. Let's just do one together, and I'm not going to make you sit here, not that I make you do anything, but I'm not going to sit here and record me doing all of that. So just take a paper towel, some alcohol, wipe it down, get it nice and clean, get all that residue off. I will wash them too before I'm done, but just for sake of demonstration here, I still have to finish the edge. I'll get all that out. You can also use a big brush if you want to get the dust out from all those crystals, but I have to go around that whole edge first. But then just take Resin Restore if you have it and touch those little edges, and that will make them totally disappear and bring that pink color back. Just like that. And then you could wash it down with alcohol again if you got some on the back of the coaster where you don't want it. You don't need too much. And I overdo it sometimes too. It's not going to just dry. It doesn't dry. It soaks into those marks. So when you wash it down with alcohol after the fact, you're not going to get it out of those marks. So I'm just kind of touching that brush right there. Now I do have the new bottles on order. I don't know if they're in yet or not. Hopefully they are by the time this goes out. I will show them to you when I do get them on a video, but they will probably be in the eBay store before the video goes out. But I ordered black jars and a nicer brush. I don't like the brush in here, so I ordered a much nicer brush to come on to the new ones. So a few upgrades to the bottle, and then just wipe it down with alcohol, and there you have it. You don't have any marks. So I'm just going to go through, get all that flashing off like that here with the nail file. I'm not going to do the sander on the front sides. I probably won't even do it on the back sides because I don't want too big of a mark to be covering. And that's it. That's how you use these inlays, or any inlays, honestly. I have several videos. If you go inside my channel, there's a search bar, and you could search for how to use inlays, and several videos will come up. If you have an inlay of, like I've done hearts before inlaid into your resin, and you pull them out, the heart could be a different color. I've done paw prints, I've done footprints. I really need to do those footprints again. I only did them once and I just love the footprints. So little feet walking in the sand, those are adorable. So there are many, many inlays to choose from. I've done flowers before, I've done starfish before. My store has a ton of inlays. A lot of people have inlays, but see what you can find. Other than that, quick, easy video. Thanks for joining me. Hope you learned something new. And these will be on eBay if you want some crystally coasters. All right, guys, stick around for those pictures. I will see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye.
Glitz and glitter paint her way. She lights up hearts come what may. With a brush of faith she starts. Jesus whispers through her art. Patience blooms in every hue. Her love for viewers shines so true. Shimmer sparkles in her eyes. A radiant soul under bright skies. Glitz and glitter, Michelle, a story her colors tell. faith and love in every part. Jesus guides her shining heart. Sparkly streams, her laughter flows like sunlit beams. With each stroke her spirit sings, a masterpiece of golden wings. She sprinkles joy like morning dew, in every shade a promise new. A life of love, a life of grace, in her art we see his face.